So we're starting a Reimagine Prosperity, and I just want to say, first of all, this fabulous photograph is from Reverend Karen at Victoria Falls with this beautiful rainbow, which is super cool. And then our beautiful Sacred Space team, they made our rainbow right here, and made the falls and the birds, and we just really want to thank them for really doing an amazing job every month, something to inspire us with our theme. And so the idea here is to reimagine prosperity. Oh man, I have a lot to say about this. So first of all, let's talk about the definitions of abundance and prosperity. So we talk a lot about these words, and we often conflate them. From a spiritual point of view, however, as we begin this journey this month, I want to actually take those two words apart. The definition of abundance, from our point of view, is that this is a quality of the universe itself. It is the universe that is itself abundant. There is abundant energy and abundant life. And if we look out at any ecosystem, we see the abundance of life continually seeking to perpetuate itself. Actually, in more lavish abundance than we can possibly imagine. And this is a quality of life that is forever available all the time in so many different forms. This beautiful waterfall is a form of the abundant flow of the universe. When it comes to us, humanity, today, especially in the modern and postmodern age, we associate that abundance with our prosperity. And generally, when we're talking about our prosperity, we're talking about the forms in which that abundance comes. Money, jobs, homes, stuff, food, all of the things that we acquire that are a part of our experience of the abundance of life. Now, in New Thought, this focus on prosperity has been very seminal to the growth of this philosophy. Over the last 150 years, there has been this strong sense that comes along with the American dream of not only independence, but also fulfilling our own destiny. That really has urged us to recognize that we are not peons in somebody else's feudal system. We are not enslaved by a corporation or a landowner, but we are in fact intrinsically, inherently valuable as individuals, and it is our destiny and our birthright to express and experience that, which is a really beautiful thought. And that we utterly believe that that is true about every single human being, regardless of anything else. That is true about every single human being. And of course, if we look in nature, we recognize that nature thinks that that's true about every bit and every being and all living beings of all creation. I just came home from 2 weeks up in New Hampshire where it's very cold. Very cold. It's barely spring. We actually had a little snow flurry. It's amazing. We had little daffodils. The forsythia in our cabin isn't even blooming yet. And yet the whole time we were gone, the amaryllis and the columbines in my little front area, my little front patch that I have in front of the garden, has been blooming like crazy. And do you know they don't care that I'm there not to see it? They do not. They are simply doing their thing. They are blooming wildly. And I'm grateful that I catch some of it, right? But they do not care whether there is anyone to see their blooming or not. They are intrinsically, inherently valuable in the beingness that they are. And they are supported by the universe to bloom these lavishly amazing, gigantic red blooms that are just awe-inspiring. The reason that we want to talk about reimagining prosperity is because prosperity, the way that we have understood it in the last 100 years, has kind of run its course. New Thought and mental science and science of mind, when it started out, really was embedded in that American dream. And yeah. So we talked about this last week. Karen and Georgianne gave you a beautiful talk about Earth Day and about, how our planet is now coping with humanity's desire for prosperity. So when I was at the University of Dallas and I was working on my thesis, there was a wonderful phrase that was bantered around in the philosophy and psychology classes. And this phrase, I was like, I was stunned by and then really began to appreciate. And it is the phrase called the juggernaut of modernity. The juggernaut of modernity. So we are moving into the postmodern age. The last 100, 150, 200 years really has been the modern era. And what more than anything else has been the seminal idea of the modern era? Infinite progress. Infinite progress. We can constantly progress. We can learn more scientific things. We can discover lands that people already are living on. We can continue to expand. We can mine more. We can take more out of the earth. We can do all of these things, and we can continually progress in our own lives. Actually, from a Calvinistic point of view, that is how you show that you are favored by God, is that your life continues to progress. And we in the New Thought movement and in the science of mind we said yes to that because we were seeking to experience the innate, inherent value of each and every human being and how important it is that each and every human being gets to express the life that they came here to live and who they came here to be. The problem is, of course, that in the juggernaut of modernity, there's no place where this progress ends. And it's also the engine for our economics, right? It's the economic engine that is to mean that every month or quarter or at least every year, there's a progress in profit. People make more money, especially shareholders. They make more money and more money and more money because that's the expectation. Infinite progress. Yeah, how do you think that's working? It's challenging, right? Because we do actually believe that we can grow in our lives, right? We inherently believe that we can grow. We can become more of who we are. We can strip away the veils of false belief, of the sense of separation. We can strip away the veil of unworthiness, of undeserving, of, we'll get the reward in heaven if we sacrifice now. All these ways in which this philosophy seeks to really support our individual expressions, when it gets married to this idea of infinite progress, our own belief in prosperity contributes. It contributes to what's happening to our planet. It contributes to the disparity between the wealthy and the not so wealthy. It contributes to that. So Karen and I want us to really explore reimagining prosperity. Not that we can't be prosperous, but that our prosperity must, in fact, come out of the beauty of life. Oh, I would like to have my rainbow back, right? This rainbow is the product of this extraordinary outpouring of life. And there's the rainbow. When we seek after the rainbow itself, do you see that's kind of the problem? When we're in the flow of life, that is the inherent impulse, the push of life itself to express as each one of us. And our prosperity is designed then to contribute to the whole, to contribute and participate, to make a blessing, to be a blessing in the world, so that our prosperity isn't just for us. It's not just for the individual, but it is also how it furthers life as a whole and is an expression and an outpicturing of that beautiful life that is actually seeking to express. So the thing we are seeking for is seeking us. Not only am I seeking my good and seeking God, but life is seeking to express as us in its fullness, in its joy, in its abundance, in its prosperity, flowing through us as the very expression of life, so that rainbows do appear. Of course, we know it's not always rainbows. Sometimes it's storm, and sometimes it's quiet, and yet those rainbows do, in fact, appear. So, in this notion of the juggernaut of modernity, comes this thought we get from Aristotle. Now, I don't always like to quote, dead white men from the Western culture, but sometimes they, in fact, have some really amazing things to say, so we won't leave them out either. So Aristotle says this amazing thing. He said, it is our good that draws us forward. It is what we think is our good, he qualifies, that draws us forward. Okay, so imagine this, right? So our lives, let's say, is a line that we are walking. It's a journey that we are walking. And the things that we think are good for us draw us forward. So when I am feeling the need for comfort and go to my Starbucks and get my little Starbucks for my little comfort, because I know by God it's going to make me feel better, how far do you think that draws me forward? Not so much, right? It actually keeps me exactly where I am, makes me comfortable with what's going on. And now we might say we want some more good. We want a better job. We want a little more money. We want a home. All of these things draw us forward. But what happens when we achieve them? There we are. And we have to want something else that draws us forward again. Aristotle's contention, which I think is really quite extraordinary, is that the larger our good that we are seeking, the further it draws us. Yes? The larger the good we are seeking, the further it draws us. So what is larger than my home, my job, my life? Well, the life of my family. My family's home, my family's life, my family's good. Okay. Well, what's larger than that? The community I'm a part of, the nation, the humanity, life itself, God. Whatever we think of that thing to be, right? Spirit, infinite reality, that one infinite power and presence, the intangible, whatever we think that, right? That is the largest thing. And when we are seeking that experience and to align our lives with that experience, do you see, when that is our good, that will draw us our whole lives. Because it's the largest good we can seek, however we describe that or imagine that to be. And if it's drawing us forward, do you see, it's not the individual forms of prosperity that we are seeking, but we are expressing the abundance of the universe through the forms of our lives as we are moving toward and being drawn by this large good. Then our prosperity is a blessing. Our prosperity is, in fact, a blessing to ourselves, our families, our communities, our nation, the people that we associate with, humanity as a whole, and life itself. But notice that when we are seeking good like that, it's not this never-ending progress of stuff, forms. There's a desire to express and experience life as opposed to acquire things that we think are big enough good. It shifts the whole perspective. We do expect to be prosperous, but it is an outpicturing of seeking this larger life that is a life that works for me and a world that works for everyone. That is a whole and complete system, like nature, like the abundance of nature, like the ecosystems, where everything is in support of everything else, everything is needed, everything is contributing, nothing is just taking and taking and taking. Everything is a part of the whole, just like we are. Just like each and every human being and each and every being of life itself, part of the whole. And every one of us has something to offer and to contribute. And when we are being that and allowing that to pull us forward, truthfully, our prosperity is assured. Because we have enough of whatever is needed to make those next steps. Then it's not infinite progress in particular forms. It's infinite progress in the deeper and deeper and deeper awareness of life, of the one, of the joy and abundance, wholeness that is the truth of life itself. And we're moving in alignment with that. So this month we're going to talk about a number of different ways in which we might really get a hold of this in a really powerful way that allows us not just to continue the juggernaut of modernity, but to come into a deeply aligned, co-creative place with life itself, where our lives are truly a blessing. We've been really blessed, and I've been really blessed with a huge prosperity of new staff here at CSLDallas. We've been blessed by the prosperity of being able to be back together again in a whole new way. Do you see? This is the abundance of the universe showing up. So one of the ways that the abundance of the universe is showing up, I'm going to turn this talk over to Karen, but we're going to bring her up here just for a minute, and we're going to let you know, come on up here. We're going to let you know that part of the abundance of the universe and all of this is that Karen is going to take her first sabbatical this summer. Yes, we're super excited. Thank you to you all who have made this possible. Thank you to our staff who is making this possible. She's been with us for 8 years. She was supposed to get her first sabbatical in 5, and then, of course, the pandemic hit, and that was that. And so Karen's going to be on her sabbatical June and July of this year, and then I'll be joining her in August for our annual vacation. So, yeah, do you see prosperity shows up in so many ways, and even when it's not exactly how we think it might be, or it's not this infinite progress in the materialistic world, we're now able to support Karen in her prosperity, despite the fact that we've been through a pandemic. Is that not prosperity? Right? And that's just like a little window in what each of us can do and have and experience, and how much we want for every single person on the planet to have that also.
Yes, thank you. I'm really excited. I will miss y'all, and I'm really excited about all the creativity that I got to do my sabbatical. So thank you, each and every one of you. So I love how Petra really is teeing up this month. It's my favorite topic. It's my specialty. It's the thing that I actually walk the walk and talk the talk and prove every day of my life, especially since coming into Science of Mind in 2007. And there are many different forms of prosperity. And the way that Petra talked about how the biggest thing, I love that. Boy, I'm gonna tape record that snippet in me. The biggest thing we can think of and how it draws us, right? And I want to take you back about 30 years in my life. I won't fill in the gap because we'll be here forever. But if we look back, I started a sales career after getting a marketing and sales concentration degree. And my first job was at General Electric, GE, selling light bulbs. In my, I think I was 18, 19, maybe 20. But it was my first, sales job, and I started out pretty well. And in that 23-year sales and marketing career, I financially progressed each year, right? In my early 20s, I think I was 21 when I bought my first house. That was a big deal, right? In Tampa, Florida. I still can picture it in my mind like I am a homeowner because I didn't want to rent, and I knew the benefits of home ownership, and I just took the leap of faith and did that. And then all of a sudden I had all this debt in my life, right, that I hadn't had before. And so I was in my early 20s. I don't know about y'all, but I was really into the stuff and the glitz and the glamour and, wearing the right things, driving the right thing, and furnishing that home, and, have the friends over, and da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. I'm in my mid-20s now, and my father, I love and adore so much, and formed so much of my life. My father, I'll never forget, called me and said, I have a birthday present that I want to give you this year. I'm like, great, Dad, what is it? I'm so excited. And he said, this is the birthday present. You are going to take one credit card a month and cut it up and send me the half of it every single month until you're down to one credit card. And I went, what? That's not a gift. What? Because he sort of knew through conversation that I was accumulating some debt that I could get out of because of my earning, but it was going fast and rapid. And he said, so do that. I did it. Begrudgingly, but I did it. And I think that was the start of, once I got down to one credit card, that I actually felt the taste, just a little taste of freedom, financial freedom. And then the big moment of the first time, I really tasted financial freedom in my early 20s was when I sold that first house and bought me a better house. But any of y'all know this, you usually close on the sale of that house, and then a day or two later, you buy the next one, right? And there was this moment in this gap where I felt financially free. I didn't know I was sold, because I had paid down that credit card debt, and I didn't have a mortgage. I had a company car, so I didn't have a car note. And I got to taste what it felt like I could just go anywhere, walk away, because I don't know anybody, anything, and then in less than 48 hours, I felt like I had it on me again. I think that started one of my big things in life. A big picture thing for me is that I wanted to live financially free. I wanted to know what it was like to not owe anything to a soul. And that took me a bit. Science of mind and coming here to CSLDallas and really working, it's my main focus of ensuring that I am in divine oceanic substance. It's everywhere present. It's always around me. It's through me. It's moving through my life. I have things. So come to my workshop on May 22nd. You do not want to miss it. And it's like, okay. And so I started moving, and then when Petra and I finally got together, we made a commitment and felt like, okay, we're going to combine the finances, this, and that was quite the journey, y'all. But, moving and grooving and all of this, and we held the vision of financial freedom. Now, those 23 years in sales, my income increased, even during a recession. If you look at the track, it didn't dip. It just kept going. Until I became a minister. And it's about a quarter of what I was used to. But it's not the amount that's significant. It's what idea am I holding and moving to, right? And we got 2 ministers' salary now, right? And I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, we made the decision. Thanks to a gift from my father, we paid cash for the cabin in the woods that we enjoy. Don't owe a thing there. Nada. Every month, 0 credit card debt. Boom. We decided a few years ago that we wanted to taste it and never look back. We paid off the rest of our condo. So we are living financially free. And it is and what that's done for us, and so we want this for everyone. It's possible. It doesn't matter the amount someone makes. It's the journey to get to that feeling of financial freedom and that belief, and then what does one do with it? And like Petra talked about now, it doesn't matter what's happening every month. It's the credit card's paid off every month. It is magic. I don't know how. She does the finances and the Quicken, and then she says, okay, pay off the credit card bill, and there's always more than enough. But we get to go beyond ourselves. We've gone beyond ourselves. We go to our family. We certainly come to this community. So think about this, how this works. The community, your generosity gives us a salary, and a big portion of that salary comes right back here. Isn't that amazing? And we go beyond this community. We now give to World Wildlife Fund and the Nature Conservatory and the things that we care about for the planet. And we give there freely and fully. And we're still able to live financially free, not owe anything, and continue to build that. And that's also what this month is about. So I wanted to share that story. Thank goodness I went away from the things, and we're into the experiences of our life. We have a little condo with a little garden patch out front that she gets to play in, and a place in New Hampshire, right? And we want less is more, because we want more experiences. We want to be able to, that's just us. And we want to see the world more, and we want to be free and not worry about even a kitty cat anymore. Can we leave the cat, and can we go away? So we're making those kind of choices. And it feels really good. And so what are the visions, the big pictures for your reimagined prosperity? That's the key. That's what we got to, it's the what. Don't worry about the how. I just knew my what was. I knew what that tasted like. And, every time I did that, I sold a house and bought a house. And I tasted again, and then sold a house, and I was like, wow, how did I do this? What if I just didn't own a house, right? I did that for 30 years. And now it's like, I own a condo and a place in the woods, and no, I don't want more stuff, right? And we only have so much wall space for artwork anyway. And so, but what is the vision of your life? That's the thing we want you to get clear on this month. What are some of those things? Is it financial freedom? Is that one of them? What is it? That's one for us. And so Petra's going to help us move into that right now, and so that you can reimagine your prosperity and to know that all things are possible as this one life that is abundant.
Thank you, Karen. So we're going to talk about expecting and accepting our good and what that looks like. We're going to talk about sustainability and resilience in our prosperity and what that means. We're going to talk about, I can't remember what the other 2 things are, but they're brilliant, I'm sure. And gems. Karen's going to talk about gems, generosity, energy, and gems. Generosity, energy, money, and spirit. And then we're going to close and wrap up with financial freedom, because ultimately we had this beautiful Seder dinner, this Passover. We had this beautiful Seder dinner here, and one of the questions, or one of the reasons we were lifting the first glass and of wine and having this Seder dinner was in service to those who don't know the difference between more and enough. Yeah. What if we reimagined prosperity as enough as opposed to more? And what if we knew that we always had enough? And what if we knew that there was enough for every person on the planet? And what if we knew that there was enough energy that we didn't have to keep raping the planet for it? And what if we knew that there was an abundance of life for each and every, not just person, but being? What if we were able to let go of more and really embraced enough in a whole new way? Not prosperous. Do you see? I mean, when we moved into our little condo, Karen was like, oh my God, it's so little. And now we're like, we can't imagine having anything bigger. It's a good footprint for the planet. It's easy for us to take care of. It's easy for us to travel and do the things that we want to do. So we're going to invite you right now. What we're going to do, we're going to invite you right now to turn to a neighbor. We're going to invite you to pair up with two people. Just turn to a neighbor. If you're online and you have somebody there in the room with you, we'd love for you to turn to that person. If you're by yourself, you can spend some time writing about this, journaling about this, but just, find somebody, turn around, buddy up with somebody. And what the question, just look around. I'm sure you're going to find somebody. And I'm looking to make sure we have no, stragglers. If you need to, you can certainly have 3 in a group. It's really okay. Just making sure you got somebody to talk to. Now, you've had no time to think about this, right? So I'm asking for stream of consciousness response. If you were to reimagine prosperity, not the way your parents taught you, not the way the advertising agency would like you to have, not the way that our economic engine would like you to continue to buy, not the way that maybe you've lived up until this moment. Maybe it's something that got opened up for you in the pandemic. Maybe, who knows what it is. Stream of consciousness. I'm going to give you 2 minutes each. So I'm going to have, I don't know what I'm going to do, ring a bell, do something. 2 minutes each. I want you to stream of consciousness say, if you reimagined prosperity right now in this moment in your life that was good for you and good for everyone, tell your partner what that looks and feels like. Ready, set? Oh, let's wait. Everybody pick an A and a B, everybody pick an A and a B. A and a B, okay? You got an A and a B because we don't want to hem and haw on who's going to go first, blah, 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 right? A and a B. Okay, good. Okay, B's, you get to go first. Ready, set, go.
It's not so much to have all these rooms and spaces to do things, it's like multi-purpose rooms. And so, for the things, but to me, I think it's also connections with people, experiential, travel, friends, parties, whatever. With people that aren't like me as well. The pandemic shown me that politics has shown me that there's a lot of people that are not like me maybe I don't have anything and including my brother.
Everything you're saying, and now we're going to switch. So, partner A, it's your turn now.
Thanks for going first. All right, because then that helped me think in my head, because I didn't quite understand what she meant. So freedom, but then with freedom depending freedom from self, I feel, prosperity, so discomfort, whatever, learning from each other. So there is base that back down to freedom. Wants and needs is do I really need this? I think you do by the time you get it. Need it anymore. You want something else. So the freedom from the too much desire, but still knowing that you can get whatever you put your mind to as well. Is everything there is.
Up your last statement here, finishing up your statement. So, all right, so finishing up. So I just want to check in with you. So how does it feel? How does it, tell me, shout out some words. How does it feel to reimagine your prosperity? Free, contentment, freedom, comfort, secure, excited, promising, peace of mind, joyful, lightness. Does that not sit as true prosperity?
Yes.
Those words. True prosperity, real prosperity. That is when abundance and prosperity are the same thing. So that's what we're going to be talking about all month.